there, my friends, this is Grace and welcome to my channel. Welcome to process video 228 entitled Love This, and this is another layout that I created using the latest homemade kit, scrapbook homemade kit that I put together for the month of June. So this is I want to say my 7th layout for this, and this is going to be a single page layout, but because it's my 7th, I'm using a bunch of scraps for this one because I've used a lot of the papers from previous layouts. So I'm pulling out some scraps here. And I also wanted to use up this border sticker that I pulled out for this particular kit. Now, the idea that I have for this is to kind of create a strip on the top of my layout. And it's going to be just a block of strips of pattern paper, but instead of having them go from top to bottom, I'm going to have them diagonal just to kind of make a change. And the strips are going to be different sizes as well, because I wanted to use the scraps as is. Some of them I probably will cut just because they, it's better to cut them in a certain way, but for the most part, I'm going to keep them as is. I will also be cutting some more papers from bigger blocks just because, of course, I don't have that much, or I don't have enough strips to cover the whole cardstock. But I'm going to start off with the strips first, the existing strips, and see where that leaves me. So a little bit about the photos. These are just phone photos from 2018. I have been going through my 2018 photos to Scrapbook. I recently, well, I guess I shouldn't say recent. I don't know. I don't know how recent, how far back is recent, but just this year I edited some photos, and I did show that in a previous video, and kind of took you along on how I edit my photos for printing. But anyways, I worked with the rest of my 2018 photos. Anything that I haven't scrapped that I would like to scrap, which is mostly phone photos, that's what I worked on. And if you're ever interested in that kind of video, I will try to remember to link that in the description box below, or you can always just check my channel and it should be there within this year. Anyways, so these photos are of a quick visit from my brother. I have two brothers and two sisters. Both my brothers live in California, and then my older sister lives in the East Coast in Virginia, and then my youngest sister lives in Idaho. So the sisters are all scattered, but the boys are all in Cali. And this was just a normal, typical day. I think it was even like a Thursday or something, but it was just a very random day. And I got a call in the morning from my brother saying that he was doing a road trip. He was helping out a friend to take some things from New York. I think they were taking a car from New York to Cali at this point, and so they were driving, and he said, I will be in Colorado at 7 o'clock at night or something like that. And I said, well, stop by. So they stopped by for a very quick visit. They just had dinner here, him and his friend, and then they took a quick nap, and then like at midnight or so they left again to continue their road trip. So it was a very quick visit, and I needed to make sure that I documented it. So I pulled out my photos, and even though the lighting wasn't good because it was nighttime and it was in my kitchen, I still wanted to document it. So going back to the layout, as you can see, I am just filling in all of the rest of the spaces for this cardstock. I did pull out a purple. Now, if you want to recreate it, the color of the cardstock doesn't really matter. So if you want to pull out a scrap cardstock, that would be great, because as you can see, we're filling that up with pattern paper, so none of the colors of the cardstock will show anyway. So that's what I did here. I just pulled that purple one from my scrap cardstock, folder. And also another thing to note is that I trimmed down the cardstock piece a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch smaller than my card base, because I want my cardstock piece, the background anyways, to show, because I like frames around my layout. So now that that's finished, I just need to trim that out. And my background here will be a black cardstock. I think I'm going to audition a few different cardstock pieces here because I felt like the black was just a little too dark. But the problem with the orange or this pink is that I feel like this block diagonal striped paper block just was it was just blending well. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a definition between the block piece and the background piece, so I went back with the black, and that might be a little too dark, but I still like how it makes that striped background stand out a little bit more. I don't know. Let me know in the description box below. Do you think I should have gone with a different color cardstock, or went with either the orange or the pink, or the black was well better suited for this particular design? And then of course I have to have a paper in the bottom, because the background piece is just like a 6-inch one, and so I used that pink one that's at the B side of a cut apart piece, and I specifically cut a part of that wherein I am okay if the cut aparts, or I don't really care for the cut aparts that I cut, if that makes any sense. So anyways, I'm using the B side, so it's just going to be kind of a little bit of a solid pink there. And I know that it's a picture of my brother, but it's mostly pink, but I had pulled out the pink because there's a lot of pinks in the striped background that I have, so that's why I pulled that out. And I have this kind of slightly muted gray paper, and I'm using that to create my border strips to go in between the photos and the pattern paper. That's just kind of my go-to design. I like having a border in between layers of paper and photos just to have a definition for it. And when I had cut the border, there was this kind of a 1/4 inch strip of that paper that was left, and so I didn't want to waste that, so I'm using that to fill in the top of the photo strip, and I like the look of that. Now I pre-printed my journaling, and that's going to go on the bottom, but as you can see, it's on the left right now, and that's actually going to change once I start adding my title blocks and some more embellishments. So at this point, I didn't know what my title was yet. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as decorations or embellishments. I had pulled out these tags because I pulled that out for my kit, and I thought that I would add that kind of going outside, or tucked in rather, on the photos. And then I thought that I would use this frame as well. The problem with these items is that the background is very busy, as you can see, so it's really hard for me to add anything there. I figured maybe I'll add this more subdued tag to it, and I will work on it just a little bit more, and I would even pull out the rest of this cut apart sheet, but really nothing was standing out. And so I'm gonna go and audition a few more things here, but then you will see what I will end up with. I was even looking at the sticker sheet, seeing if there's any letters there that I could use to create my title. And again, I'm just pulling out some of the stickers that I pulled out for this particular kit, and I'm just trying to see what I can use. If you ever want to see the products that I used for this homemade kit, make sure that you look at the layouts that I have or I'm sorry, the videos that I have in my homemade kit playlist, and it will be there. So I ended up going with these frames. These are very old My Mind's Eye frame from I don't know when, but they're very old, and I'm pulling that out. I pulled out the centers of it, the ones with the words, and I am going with just the frames. I will end up putting back one of the words in the smaller one, but you'll see me do that later. Now I needed a white cardstock, and I was kind of not even thinking. I saw this white piece on the side of my table, and I thought it was a white cardstock, but it's actually a paper, a piece of 8.5 by 11 sticker backed paper. I usually use that for like creating my own stickers, even my return address labels for when I need to send cards or whatnot. But it was on my table, and I thought it was a white cardstock. And so by the time I had stuck it on my frame, it was too late, and it's still a white cardstock, but it was sticker backed. So I'm just gonna go with that, and I did add the Home Sweet Home on the smaller one, but I added my title for the bigger one. I gotta say, I am not particularly in love with the title. I felt like it was too generic, but I didn't have any like letters or words that will fit within that frame other than this. And plus, I was using, a very narrow groupings of products because I'm using a homemade kit. So I went with just that love this. The love word is from the Pink Paisley Indigo and Ivy sticker sheet, and then the this is just from the I think that was a Teresa Collins sticker sheet, a 12 by 12 sticker sheet. So basically that's my layout. To complete the triangle, I did put that there's no place like home chipboard piece. That is from I think it is an Echo Park. I might be wrong, but it's another sticker sheet that I pulled out for this particular kit. And there's going to be some still shots, close up of the layout here, and I will catch you guys another day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you. Bye.